make it loud for Ryan Coleman! Should have planned my walk to the stage better. Hey, thanks for coming out, everybody. Thank you to all my friends. They're not my friends, forget about yours. I do all kinds of jokes. My name is Ryan. I do it all. I can do an impression of anyone in your family just by tasting your blood. I'm fairly tall. I've obviously never been turned away from a roller coaster in my life. Which is funny because I have been asked to leave an amusement park. People ask me sometimes if I've always been tall, and I tell them I've grown 4 feet in the last 2 weeks. I grew up in Virginia. I was born in Iowa, just like my previous friend here. Are you guys Virginians or Iowans? I'm sorry, I blended that together. My parents worked very hard when I was younger. My mom worked in healthcare. My dad worked in the government. And that was good for me because I ended up in a lot of hospitals and courtrooms. My mom worked in healthcare for about 30 years. She started as an ER nurse, she became a hospice nurse, and then she's a clinical ethicist now. So I was raised as a bummer. All my stories at school were about like death or something crazy in a butthole. My dad worked for the Justice Department. He worked under Bill Clinton, saxophone president. They do a lot of work with social programs in the courts. If you've never been to court, it's kind of like a big gossip office. Puts on their prom clothes and somebody's like, hey, you did this? Yeah, I saw you. Someone starts playing with a hammer. I find a lot of the trappings of government, just like the procedural stuff, to be very, very silly. I just think that modern American democracy is a dressed up form of monarchy, and I think monarchy is a corrupt system that we stole from bees. People may not like the president, but everyone in Washington knows his royal jelly is delicious. I became a vegetarian recently, very recently, it's been like 2 months. Not because I like animals. I realized my bloodlust would never be quenched. The body wasn't enough for me. I want the soul. Plus I couldn't stop eating people, so I just had to cut it out completely. I've been eating a lot of fiber and vegetables. It's been very good for me. I was eating a bag of cashews the other day. I flipped it over, and I started reading the ingredients. It said, may contain peanuts, hazelnuts, walnuts, pecans, and I was like, shit, maybe I'm not eating cashews. Maybe I've never seen a cashew. Maybe none of us have. Maybe none of us know nuts. I'm not saying nuts aren't nuts, I'm just saying that the nuts we think we know may not be the nuts we believe them to be. Is that nuts? Look at that. You guys ever catch an animal doing something they're not supposed to? Walked up on this squirrel the other day. He just froze and pretended to file papers. I'm not the boss, man. Why are you looking at me? I've read that cow farts are destroying the ozone layer. I'll take that. I read that cow farts are destroying the ozone layer, so I think we should be more wary of our own. I work in a coffee shop at the moment, and I will never understand why we keep all of our dishes right at farting height. I also think that food service employees should be required to wear a special uniform when they poop. Do you need me to say it again, or do you want to It's like, yeah, you washed your hands, but those clothes you crop dusted are going right back in the kitchen. So. Also, why is this a chef's kiss? Their fingers should not be in their mouths. Any nose pickers in the audience? I was expecting a lot of liars, so that's cool. You guys have rules? I picked my nose, but I got rules. If you flick it and you see where it goes, you gotta pick it up. It's just a classy thing to do. If you don't see it, no problem. As far as Schrödinger is concerned, that booger might not exist. I was raised pretty religious, so I try not to judge people, boogers or no. It's not what my religion taught. I just, who am I to judge you when my biggest fear is an eyeball in the sky? I went to a lot of church camp as a kid. Did anybody here go to church camp?
Yeah.
I can't see you. Someone over here. What was your favorite part of church camp? Jesus! They teach you one thing at church camp, dude. You remember that garden hose they'd whip you with in the shower until you took your clothes off? And if you complained, they'd take your food away? People keep telling me that's not a normal part of church camp, but I will never forget it. I mentioned Jesus. If you guys don't know Jesus, he's the king of church. He's kind of like Sleeping Beauty meets Superman. It's like cool hair, dope powers. He's unconscious for a lot of the story. We have this acronym in church that we raise our kids with, WWJD, and it's like, what would Jesus do? You're supposed to live by that, and people find it intimidating because he was the Son of God. But I find there are much more practical applications. What would Jesus do? He'd walk to the party. What would Jesus do? He'd wear something breathable. Would he bring his own alcohol? No. He would convince others to share. They say Jesus turned water into wine, which is dope, until he tells you it's his blood. And it's kind of weird. It's like, hey, you guys remember that dude that came up at the party last night and slit his wrist into my drink? That was the fucking Son of God. All right, thank you guys very much. My name is Ryan Coleman.